All right, welcome back to the channel. This time, instead of a TBR or a wrap-up, because I realize that's damn near everything that I've uploaded recently, aside from my live chats on other people's channels. Here is a relatively large book haul. You can't see the books I'm looking at because they're over there. But let's talk about all the books that I've purchased or been sent over the last few weeks, months, because I haven't done a book haul in quite some time. So first up, I'm going to start off with Jason Link's upcoming, I guess, sci-fi sort of fantasy blend novel. It is called Angel from the Rust. And I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the back of the book here because this doesn't come out until January 17th of next year. I have it on Kindle right here, and I will show a much prettier full color graphic in just a moment. They say Earth was a place of wonders where towers pierced the clouds, cities lit up the night, and flying machines streaked across the sky. It was magic, but the magic conjured the end war. Fire fell from the sky, and metal beasts leveled the cities. That was 600 years ago. Now the ruins of the ancient world are buried or overgrown, and the technology of the past is feared as forbidden magic. Corvala, a young musician on the run from the law, never intended on getting mixed up with history. But when a murderer falls from the heavens and sets himself up as a god, she's driven into the wilderness and discovers the secret of her bloodline. A code of immense power embedded in her DNA. The code could save thousands or plunge her into madness. To defeat the tyrannical false god, Corvala must do something more terrifying than confront the demons of Earth's history. She must confront her own. That's a damn good hook right there. This sounds super cool. He describes it as dystopian, post-apocalyptic, and sword and circuitry, if that's a thing. So yeah, again, January 17th, this will be published by Heroic Books, and sounds pretty freaking awesome. So I'll link the book down below as well. Check it out. And next up, we have what I believe is a self-pub sci-fi book. It is called Keys of Time by Johann Martin. And it looks like this. Sci-fi covers always look pretty sweet. I'm going to assume, since it's called Keys of Time, and this guy looks super normal in like a backpack and like normal ass shoes and jeans, that it's going to have to do with time travel. I haven't even read the back of the book yet. Thank you, Johann, for sending this to me, though. Let's see what it's about. It's been 10 years since Reuben Grayson's father disappeared, leaving the discharged Army veteran drifting in a sea of unemployment and alcohol. Not a good combination. That isn't until an attempt on his life drives Reuben into the grips of the Secretive Archive Initiative Center, AIC, where he learns of his father's murder and the elusive fugitive plotting to take the reins of their most guarded asset, Kronos. Kronos. Keys of Time. Chrono Trigger. Chrono Cross. Chronosphere. Other words that have to do with Chrono. Time travel. Now Reuben must hunt down his father's killer through the vast space-time maze of the Kronos Project. Caught in a vortex of hidden agendas, prophetic dreams, and tantalizing artifacts, Reuben and his team of travelers unlock clues that lead to the gut-wrenching truth at the heart of the cryptic project. Equations and gadgetry may bind the pillars of the beastly Kronos, but human dilemmas will test all those who pass through its arches. A paradox, always true, but rarely right. I'm going to guess his father is behind the Kronos Project. Before I get into more books, this isn't really part of the book haul. These are just Red Rising things from Kickstarter that I wanted to share. If people weren't familiar with this Kickstarter a while back, they were for a bunch of Red Rising decks of cards. So I actually have two of them, which I just love because the artwork on them is pretty sweet and it's Red Rising. So, of course, I love it. But you've got the Joker card as an example of one. Get me out of the way. Focus. It's still focusing on me. I can see the square. Focus. Yeah. I've used a camera before. And then, of course, you got some bookmarks. Focus. There it is. I, of course, had to get another edition of my favorite sci-fi novel ever, in Dune. Now, this is basically the exact same special edition that you can get everywhere else. This was Barnes & Noble's sort of reprint of it. So it's still sweet, but I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed, or I should have known better. This is literally all it is. There's nothing else to it. It's just the different color cover. So it's effectively a dust jacket. Still looks nice, though. Next up, I can't remember if I mentioned this before when I bought it, but it's just been sitting on the shelves, and I am going to read it at some point. I've heard mostly good things about it, but you typically don't hear video game lore-turned books being great. But League of Legends has some pretty sick lore. And Arcane is one of my favorite animes that I've ever seen. So I am going to give a try to Ruination right here, this bad boy. I know nothing about Anthony Reynolds as an author. I do know the characters and the world that this is set in, but as a fantasy novel, I have no idea what to expect. I don't know how it's going to read, what it's going to follow exactly, but it's a shorter fantasy novel. There's quite large text, so it's really padding the runtime here with the page count. But I know Elle read it, and I think she enjoyed it at least a good amount, so I'm pretty much expecting to enjoy it, and who knows, maybe this will turn into, a wide, I don't know, League of Legends novelization that happens. We'll see. Next up on the book haul, and God, I've been reading so much less with my new job. I'm just so busy during the day that I haven't had a chance or much free time to just get around to reading all these books that I want, so they're stacking up on me. However, I do need to make time for this because Brian Lee Durfee has written two of my favorite fantasy novels that I've read in some time, and The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart is what I'm talking about, of course. Fantastic novels in the Five Warrior Angels trilogy, which now has an ending, Lonesome Crown. Why do I have two copies of this? Well, you see, I pre-ordered this one from Barnes & Noble lots and lots of months ago, and then I forgot about it. Then I was like, hey, Amazon, I need it on Amazon. So now I have two floppy paperback editions of them, which hopefully I can get a hardback at some point, but I have floppy paperbacks of the other ones. I do want to get a signed one, though, because all my other copies are signed. So since I have two right now, though, I will be giving one of these away. So let me know in the comments down below. This is what we're going to do, doing this on the fly. Let me know in the comments down below. Just best book you've read this year and why it was so awesome. If you want to enter yourself in a chance to win one of these bad boys. How about that? Seriously, though, these books, fantastic. Big, chunky, epic fantasy. So much lore, so much care. Best take on religion and fantasy that I've ever read. Fantastic characters, super fucked up moments, awesome hardcore battles. It's awesome. Next up, we have another self-pub book. I believe this one is actually fantasy, though. Very much so. I should have known by, it's called 12 Blades in Contempt, and the cover is fantastic. I actually love this artwork. So this is by Jordan Darrett. This is a self-published book, book one of the Epic of Ageisha. So this is... Aya is a Ginju, a hidden assassin of the Ageishan Empire. The black sheep of her clan, she grapples for a connection with her deity. Chafing under the heavy expectations of her father, a collision with a rival clan provides her with a chance to prove herself. But a grievous mistake sets her on a path against the immortal Empress herself, the Sorceress of Storms. As civil unrest widens the cracks in the empire, giving way to the winds of contempt, Aya must decide for herself whether to remain loyal to the throne or help forge a new path towards independence. Sounds pretty sweet. Love the artwork. And it's pretty short, so I could get through that relatively quickly. I kind of like short books. I know I just talked about Lonesome Crown, which is a big boy. And there's some other thick books upcoming, but I can get down with a shorter fantasy book. Thank you again, Jordan, for signing this and sending it to me. I really appreciate it. So there you go. Yep, Rise of the Dragon. More A Song of Ice and Fire stuff for me to look through. Oh my god, that spine just cracked real good. So this, of course, goes right along with Fire and Blood and A World of Ice and Fire, detailing more stuff about the Targaryens and their history. And gorgeous artwork, of course. Another very gigantic book to sit up there with World of Ice and Fire. These are perfect for display. I mean, they're just gorgeous, so well made, such high quality. And the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire and the Targaryens specifically is so good. Leanna, Jimmy, and I had a fantastic time with Fire and Blood. I loved House of the Dragon, so naturally, can't get enough Targaryens, gotta read some more. So yeah, this is joining the shelves, and I am going to read it at some point, who knows when. But this is only volume 1. So now that means good old Georgie R.R. Martin's son is gonna do more volumes. The list of books this man has planned is too long. This next stack of books I'm just gonna rattle off pretty quickly because they are all set in Middle Earth, by our J.R.R. Tolkien. And these are things that I've never read before because I am highly interested in expanding beyond The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, as it were. And it's time to get into some other stuff in that world. So, Children of Hurin. Honestly, I have no idea what to expect from any of these, so I'm not going to talk about it very much. But these gorgeous editions belong on my shelves. I have an entire Tolkien shelf underway, so that will be filled up rather quickly. So there you go. Children of Hurin. I don't know why I'm holding all these at the same time. Oh my god. Then we have Beren and Luthien. Greatest love story ever told, I think. We'll see. I don't know. We also have Tales from the Perilous Realm. We got dragons, boys and girls. We got dragons. Again, no idea what to expect from some of these. But I love his writing. It's so good. We also have the Unfinished Tales of Numenor and Middle-earth. Oh my goodness. These gorgeous illustrations and these hardcovers. I love it. It's the perfect size, too. And the newest release, which I don't know if this is entirely new content or not, but The Fall of Numenor, this edition that just came out, it of course has a nice little built-in bookmarkerino right there. There's also illustrations, and I've heard so many good things about this just from Tolkien people that Fall of Numenor is like one of the greatest storylines in Middle-earth, so super pumped to get into these. Fantastic. Next up, this, of course, I will be one of the last booktubers, I'm sure, to talk about it, other than Alan, because Alan hasn't even started Stormlight Archive. So Mistborn's probably going to take him 5 years to get to finish, I guess. Who knows? The Lost Metal, of course, is what I'm speaking of. And I didn't understand that this was the trade paperback size when I ordered it, because I guess they do the trade paperback first and then the mass market, which typically I hate mass markets, but literally all of, can you even see up there? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. All of the mass markets, I guess, that I have from Book Depository in this exact edition for the rest of Mistborn, Edge Dancer, Warbreaker, they're all the same size. And this bad boy came the size of Way of Kings, so it's very tall. It's a tall boy. I've heard very mixed things about this. I've heard universally, and from Sanderson himself, that it's the most Cosmere book that he's written. So that's not a critique. That is just a fact of what it is. I was not necessarily looking forward to the Lost Metal because I don't love Era 2. Era 2 is far inferior to me to Era 1. I also did not like Secret History. I hated what that did to Era 1 itself. But the Cosmere in general is sweet. Obviously, I love Stormlight. I love parts of Mistborn. Well, Era 1. I don't like Era 2 as much. It's just okay. But I've seen people say everything from this is the worst book Sanderson's written to, wow, this is a 10 out of 10 perfect book. All the Cosmere connections are fantastic. I loved every second of it. I don't know. I'm probably going to fall somewhere in the middle there. Hopefully Wayne dies. That would be cool because his stupid jokes about hats are tiring and I want to see him perish. But we'll see what I think about the Lost Metal. And I'll finally review it on my channel and will probably be one of the last people to do so because everyone has already read it. So I'm late. Is that everything? I think so. Yes? No. I have 2 more books in my hand. So, a couple of things here. Previously, I have purchased... What am I saying? So, Christopher Rocchio, the greatest working sci-fi author that there is, in my opinion right now, has written some awesome books in a little-known series called The Sun Eater, okay? It's fantastic. Everybody should read this shit. It's brilliant. My point, though, was he's also written, outside of his main series, The Lesser Devil, which was essentially a novel, but it was much shorter, and then other stories. So there's Tales from the Sun Eater, all kinds of, other missions that Hadrian and the Red Company have gone on. And I picked up this one from Anderida Books when it came out. This was I've talked about this before because I've had this a while. These were limited editions, essentially. I think there were 500 of them printed. I was 457 and they're signed. And these are just gorgeous editions. I love this size of a hardcover. Brilliant. And I damn near missed this one, which is Queen Amid Ashes and Other Stories. So this one came out, and I only knew about it for some reason because of Leanna. When she was like, hey, did you know about this? We almost missed this. And I was like, oh shit, I need to get it. So I ordered this one too. Of course, it matches the one that I just showed. Again, number 457 of 500, and it's signed. So thank you for signing these, Mr. Rocchio. They are awesome. I mean, not only is this the best sci-fi that's going right now, the cover art, the book quality, everything is just so good about these. I mean, Sun Eater's fantastic. If you're not reading Sun Eater, I don't know what to do to help you in life. Just go out and read it, and then we can talk. To go with that, though, Ashes of Man, of course, is set to come out in a week, I think, December 13th, I believe. I've had it in an ARC copy on my Kindle for several months. I just didn't want to read it yet because I was waiting to read it and then chat with Leanna about it. And we're going to read Queen Amid Ashes as well. Whenever we do our live for, because we've been doing all the Sun Eater books, so probably January, I think. Anyway, I've had the actual book pre-ordered as well. And similar to The Lonesome Crown, but I guess a slightly different situation, is Daw Books reached out to me and was very kind enough to, again, give me the ARC, which I already had through NetGalley, but they sent me an email and said, hey, you want a copy? And I said, yeah. Here we go. So now I have it in hardcover a little bit early, which is super cool because now I'm going to have 2 copies of this too. So I will also be giving away a copy of Ashes of Man. So if you are caught up on Sun Eater, even if you're not, if you just want a copy of Ashes of Man, let me know in the comments down below who your favorite character is from Sun Eater and why. And I will consider you entered in to win a copy of Ashes of Man. So when I get my other copy, when it releases, it'll be there. So thank you, Daw Books, again for sending me this. I love it. I love having these books available to me. They're wondrous. I don't know what to expect from this other than I'm sure it's going to be really, really happy. No one's going to die. Everyone's going to be talking about rainbows and butterflies because that's what happens in these books. They're super duper happy. I promise. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Sun Eater's great. Read it. Consume it. Use your ears. Listen to it. Audiobooks are great too. Where am I even going with this anymore? But yeah, that's my book haul. I think that's everything. Yeah, I mean, that's everything that I've bought, been sent recently. So there you go. There's the haul of the books. How do I end a video anymore? Until next time? Is that what I say? Is that what I say? No one's over there. Who am I talking to? Until next time.